Hello, my friends, and welcome to the latest spin. I'm Mike Spinner, Student Athlete World USA, coming at you on Friday morning. No joke. This is like the midnight edition of the latest spin, um, simply because I think we just set a record. Longest interview in Student Athlete World history. I think, Tim, I don't know if there are records, but let's see if we could track this one down. Just had an interview that clocked in at about an hour and a half. If you hear my voice being raspy, it's just been a long week of interviews, tons of them, tons coming this weekend, next week too. But we're going to keep this one quick tonight. Sorry, folks, I'm a little tired, or might be not sorry if you get bored by the length of my videos. But one of the things that I don't know if I've ever spoken about before on this video is our interviews and the process. And, we always say the interview is part of the process. It should not be a surprise that there is an interview that's part of the process, because I do talk about that. But, what do we do during the interviews? So essentially, your application, there is letters of recommendation, there are videos. That is almost like your tryout. All right. That is how we get to know you as an athlete. We watch your videos, we read your letters. Some cases maybe take it a step further, go on your social media, we connect with you, even use the Google machine, to see if you're any good. And that is how we get to know you as an athlete. And then there's the interview. The interview is to get to know you as a traveler and potentially as a traveling family. And to us, the athlete and the traveler have equal importance, and families. All right. We want this to be not just the most amazing sports experience of your life, but the most incredible travel experience you've ever had as well. So the tryout component and the interview component are weighed equally, and we come to a decision about you as a candidate and a family, whether or not you'll be invited on a tour with us. A lot of times it's a yes, sometimes it's a no, and that's just how life works. And, this year, to be honest, I probably have had more instances where I've offered a spot on a tour during an interview before the interview ends than ever before. We've had just a wonderful group of applicants to all of our sports this year. It has been a real pleasure to do these interviews this year. And the thing about the interview that, we don't advertise, and it's just not part of our process, is they're kind of fun. First of all, you get to know me a bit. And I'm a bit chatty, so, it's fun that way. But for me to get to know you as a traveler and as a traveling family, I have to keep it casual. And I do. So there's some storytelling. There's a lot of questions from me. I talk about the tours, especially the tours that I've personally been on. And I talk about experiences of other travelers and stories from the tours. And I want to hear your stories and get to know you as well. And so most of our interviews fall in around the 45-minute window that we say they do. But once in a while, you get that candidate and that family who it's just like, well, it's just fun. We'll just talk. And so tonight, all of a sudden I realized, man, it's tomorrow. We started that interview on Thursday and ended it on Friday. And here it is. It's Friday, and I'm still going, folks. I'm still plugging away here. Not much longer, but I think that's another element of the company and the Student Athlete World experience that it's important to note. Like when you interview, and it's always with me. I mean, close to 100%. Tim will hop in on occasion, but Tim is Halley's Comet. Is very, very infrequently do you see him, but when you do, it is spectacular. But you can expect to meet with me and expect it to hopefully be kind of fun, because I know I enjoy it. I enjoy getting to meet new people and know new people. And, these interviews are a good time. But tonight was a little bit too much fun. The party went a bit too long tonight. So I'm actually doing the latest spin on Friday morning. And that's that. But I'm still here. Could have easily slipped past this one. Didn't want to do it. So that's business this week. So now, what in the world? What in the world this week is sponsored by Butterball, because, of course, There will be no latest spin next week. It is Thanksgiving, a week from today, which to me is really hard to believe. I don't know about you, but I feel like this year is just steamrolling right by. But it is Thanksgiving, a week from today. So Butterball's on board as a sponsor. I'll be honest, I do the Thanksgiving cooking in my household. I'm not a big turkey fan, unless it's like bone dry, to be honest. So I have to overcook the turkey for my liking, which means no one else likes it. So Thanksgiving, I love all the food and obviously the football. And if you haven't noticed, the NFL games next Thursday are all really good matchups. So I'm super excited for football. But Thanksgiving to me is a good holiday because it is an excuse to eat like a monster. But I would prefer more like a Thanksgiving brisket than Thanksgiving turkey, or Thanksgiving ribs, or something like that. But when in Rome, do what the Romans do. When in America, eat turkey. So it's Turkey Day a week from today, and thanks to Butterball, I have a sponsor. And this week's What in the World goes out to a singular person, and that is Mr. Lane Kiffin. I have, for some reason, studied Lane Kiffin's career, not like stalker study, but just like watched him closely. We are relatively close to the same age, and I was a coach for most of my career. And I found Lane Kiffin to be really fascinating because if you know his background, so he was like superstar offensive coordinator at USC, who, for whatever reason, Al Davis felt the need to bring him in as the head coach of I think they were still the Oakland Raiders at that point, if not LA Raiders. And it was the most bizarre NFL hire you could ever think of. Like, who is this? And, why is he getting this job? I don't think he'd ever been a head coach at any level before. And now he's the Raiders head coach. And so it was, the easiest, conclusion, the most foregone conclusion in football history that he was going to fail. And I don't even think he made it through a season. He got fired. And I remember Al Davis, may he rest in peace, the press conference when announcing Lane Kiffin's firing and just ripping on Lane Kiffin on a personal level. I'll never forget that press conference. But then, he popped up again. I think he was an assistant at Alabama and then became the head coach at Tennessee, and then had one good year. And before the year was even over, I think left for USC. I remember in Tennessee, they were rioting because he left, and then flopped at USC and got fired on the tarmac. You can look all this up, but then went to a school in Florida, had some success, then went to Ole Miss where he's been wildly successful. And now with all these schools firing coaches mid-season, he is the one hot name out there. Everybody wants to hire Lane Kiffin. And it seems like LSU is really in play, even though Ole Miss is a better program at this moment than LSU. And I think to Lane Kiffin, if you're watching, and I know you are, it's what in the world? Look at what has transpired throughout your career. All right. You've gotten fired from a couple of places that, how do you lose at USC, right? And you got fired from there. You failed there. You failed as an NFL head coach. And you've rebuilt your career a few times. And there was also an Alabama situation where he was leaving, I think, for FIU to be the head coach. And Nick Saban was so disgusted with him, they didn't even keep him on board for I think they made the college football playoffs. They didn't even keep him on board. Just said, go. We'll have another offensive coordinator for the playoffs, for the BCS playoffs. And it's this guy has had so much failure in his career that he's lucky to be at Ole Miss right now and in a position where they are a legitimate national championship contender this year. And he has done a fantastic job at Ole Miss. And no one can deny the fact that he has talent as a coach and enough talent as a CEO and a recruiter to build and maintain a high quality program. His work at Ole Miss has been nothing short of sensational. So, Lane, here's my advice. Stay at Ole Miss. LSU probably has more resources. They'll probably offer you a much bigger salary, much bigger household name, much more of a championship pedigree in sports across the board. I get it. More potential to build a dynasty. But look at the work you're doing now at Ole Miss. Just stay there. Show some loyalty. Leverage them to give you a raise if that's what you need. I can't imagine why you need $6-7 million a year to live in Oxford, Mississippi. I can't imagine the cost of living is that high. But leverage them for the NIL money and all the other resources to build a dynasty there. Don't just jump to go within your own conference because the grass is greener. You've seen it yourself, the grass isn't greener. It's been the story of your career that the grass isn't always greener. And the thing about Lane Kiffin that I think is actually most impressive is his image rehabilitation. When he was at the Raiders head coach and at Tennessee and at USC and at, I think it was FIU, whatever Florida school or FAU, whatever Florida school he was at, I remember him trolling Nick Saban pretty badly publicly, I think, when he was at Tennessee, and just being kind of a jerk and an arrogant jerk at almost every stop. And now here he is at Ole Miss. He's become very likable. Okay, I've enjoyed seeing his career progression at Ole Miss, and I think a lot of people have as well. And I think, he's a cautionary tale that you can rebuild your own personal brand if you do it right. And he's done it. And I think it's just almost wrong to leave Ole Miss. I think it's just a bad move. I think it's just wrong, just ethically wrong. Can he do it? Yeah. Will he probably do it? Yes. But I think looking at the roller coaster that this man has been on, the right move, the Lane Kiffin of 2025 move, the image rehabilitation move would be, I have a wonderful career at Ole Miss. My family is happy here. I'm happy here. We've built an amazing program that could win a national championship this year. I'm not going anywhere, Ole Miss fans. I'm a rebel for life kind of thing. I want that statement. It's not going to happen, but that's what I want to hear. That's the feel-good story that I want. So Lane Kiffin, do the right thing. Stay at Ole Miss. Don't go where the grass seems greener, because it often never is. The grass is greener where you water it, not where you walk to. Just my opinion. And that's it for the latest spin this week. As always, great fun. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Everyone have a wonderful, incredible, amazing Thanksgiving. Eat too much, have too much fun, watch too much football. It's what Thanksgiving is all about. And of course, spend too much time with your family. And as always, there is only one way to join us, to see the world. Go to studentathleteworld.com, complete your application, interview with me, and pack your bags. See everyone in 2 weeks. Have a very happy holiday.